Hi, it's Karon Thackston with Marketing Words, here with a little more techie stuff for the rest of us. Those of us who are not extremely technically adept. And today I want to guide you through 5 easy webinar landing page best practices. And this will allow you to develop WordPress opt-in registration pages for webinars and other uses using Thrive Themes Architect. And I want to show you how simple this is, all with one WordPress plugin. You don't need 8 different plugins. So let's get started. When you begin to develop your registration page, your opt-in page for your webinar, Thrive Architect gives you a lot of options. If you'll click over on the right hand side, you'll see Change Template. I have one up here that we're going to work with, but I'll show you all the different options here, and you just scroll down and they keep on coming. There's lots and lots of different ones that you can use, and when you click them open, lead gen page, a couple of different versions, 3rd generation, 4th generation, video lesson page, course page, confirmation pages. They all have different elements. Any of these, excuse me, I've got the hiccups, bad time for the hiccups. Any of these can be used as a webinar registration page, as I'll show you in just a minute, because they're that flexible and you can swap out the elements that currently exist with practically anything else. So if you decided that you wanted to, let's see, here's a webinar page. See, this says thank you page, webinar registration page. You would just click it and then click choose template. I've already got one loaded. So let's go back to this one and we'll work with it for a while, and I'll show you just how easy it is to swap out what's included. This is exactly how Thrive Architect set up this particular template. And we're going to go in and make some changes. And as you notice, you see things flashing up there as I'm moving the cursor around. This is the image box, and you see anything in here is going to deal with image, not the column. That's different. You see how that blue line now stretches all the way across? If I go up above that, that's the background section. So we have some layers going on here. When you click on something to edit it, you want to be sure you're inside the box and then look up here in the upper left hand corner. Now it says image because I'm inside the image box. If I came up here to text, now it's going to say text. If I go over here to the background, this is going to say background in the upper left hand corner. So it's easy to check and see where you are. Let's say this is just a little bit too much blue. So we will go, let me close some of these, and we'll go to background style because that's what we want to change. And instead of this solid blue color, maybe we'll break it up a little bit with some light gray. You can drag this to find the colors. You can use the scroll bar. You can directly enter a hex code. Just be sure that you click apply down here toward the bottom so that your changes stick. I like the way that looks better, but now this white text isn't showing up quite so well. So inside the text box, I can just click here and highlight, and you see over in the top left now it says text. And we can go to, let's see, yep, main options. Here's the color for the text. Just click that. I'd like it black, so that's easy. I click the presets down here and apply. And then I'll come over here and do the same thing. Color, choose black from down here and apply. Now, you'll get reminders to save your work too. So I'm going to let that go away. So now we have text that shows up a little better. Let's say orange is not my favorite color. We would rather do maybe blue and green. So let's choose a good shade of green that stands out. Then we'll come down to the next section. Now, these are the 5 best practices for webinar registration pages. So your headline is going to make a difference. The number one best practice is to use a professionally designed registration page, and this is, as you can see, we're going to add some more professional things to it as we go along, but you want it to look nice, and there's several reasons for that. It will attract more registrations if it looks nice instead of looking plain or homemade. It also lends a good element of trust, and that's what you need with all the different webinars that are going on today and are available to people. Before they hand out their email addresses to anyone that they don't know, they're going to have to know that they can trust you. So lots of good reasons for using professionally designed templates, and we get tons of those to choose from here. This is a pretty good headline. The 5-step plan to alienate procrastination in 10 days. You could say in just 10 days, in only 10 days, or something along that lines, because the words just or only, or words that are similar to that, make it seem like there's nothing to it. It's just 10 days. You can do it in just 10 days. It's not going to take you an entire 10 days. Oh my gosh, so it makes it seem trivial. Nothing to it. Only 10 days. So then we come down. This is going to be a webinar, so it's not a free report. I'm inside the image box. When I click this, you'll see that we now have an image menu to the left. I just click replace image, and we'll pretend I'm conducting the webinar. So I'm going to put in a picture of me so that people can see who I am and understand what we're going to be doing in the webinar. So stop being your own worst enemy. That's pretty good. And this copy is okay. But I like bullets because they're easy to read and they're quick to digest. So it's hard to see that the blue highlight is there with a blue background, but it is. So I'm going to delete the text they have, and I'm going to create some bullets. And we're going to say, and by the way, I'm doing this live. I absolutely hate editing video. I have not been through this process 15 times practicing, so you get me 100% mistakes and all. Hopefully I won't mess up too bad, but if I can do this and walk through it as simply as this is, being the non-techie person that I am, you can do it too. So we'll add a bullet, 5-step plan to alienate procrastination in just 10 days. So the first bullet, discover how to quickly change your procrastination mindset into one of goal, accomplishment, and productivity. So the second bullet is unlock proven formulas for knocking out everything on your to-do list with ease. And you see what we're doing here. The copy that we're including, and I'll just come up real quickly in this menu at the very top and click the bullet icon, and boom, now my paragraphs are bullets. But do you see what we're doing here? We're using action words, discover, unlock. We're also making it sound trivial, like we did with the word just at the top. Discover how to quickly change your procrastination mindset into one of goal, accomplishment, and productivity. We're moving also from something negative that the participant will want to get rid of or change into something positive. So action word, make something sound trivial. It's going to be quick. It's not going to be some long drawn out process, and you're going to go from your current procrastination mindset to one of accomplishing things and being a productive person. We're going to unlock proven formulas for knocking out everything on your to-do list with ease. So we're giving them exactly what they're looking for. And we'll do one more bullet. So we're going to discover how to quickly change the mindset. We're going to unlock proven formulas for knocking everything out on your to-do list. And what else would we talk about in a procrastination webinar? We might say get scientifically, there's our action word is get, scientifically proven painless strategies for leaving procrastination behind and crushing clock every day. So the third one is get scientifically proven painless strategies for leaving procrastination behind and crushing the time clock every day. So that's what we have here. And then in the template, sign up below to get access to your free copy. Well, that's not a good call to action anymore because we're doing a webinar, not a free download. So we might say, grab your seat below and prepare to get productive. And we can take out free copy. And we might change the color of this text. Again, we're in the left now because we're in a text box. And maybe we'll make it green. Let's see if that stands out or if it, I don't know how, no, that's not going to look good on that against that blue. So we've got an orange button. I guess we'll leave it orange and apply. Yeah, that stands out better. Grab your seat below and prepare to get productive. All right. Here's the sign up box. This is the lead generation box. And as you can see, this is the background section that we clicked on. Here's lead generation. When you click on this, you'll have to go to an entirely different menu, edit form elements. Now you can change the size of this. You can change the text if you don't want it to say your name. Maybe you want it to say first name. So we just type that in. And instead of your email address, maybe we put best email address. And when we click done, you see those changes pop in. So we're going to click on form elements again, and we're going to change this because it's not a free download. We're going to say yes. Whoop, hold on. Let me get down here. For some reason that's doing it. I'll just back up and do it with the backspace. So we're going to say yes. Yes, sign me up. And that's going to stay there. You can also change the font style if you want to, whether this is justified, centered, right side, left side. You can make it bold if you want to, strike through, underline. You can change the line height, the font size, you know, if you want to make it bigger, you can do that. All sorts of different actions that you can take to customize this any way you want to. So we have a professionally designed template. That's the first best practice. We have exceptional copy. And if you have trouble with copy, scroll down below the video. And in those notes down there, you'll see a link to my copywriting course that can help you with doing these types of web pages as well as every other type of web page that you might want to write. So the third best practice is to bring a little bit of urgency to this. And thankfully, if you go over to the right hand side, add element, Thrive Architect comes with all sorts of cool things added in at no additional charge. Now let me scroll back up here. If I can grab the scroll bar. All of these things, a lot of people have separate plugins for each one of them, whether they're free plugins or paid plugins, but you have to go and jump through all these hoops in order to make it work. And you don't have to do that with Thrive because it's all included. So above this text, grab your seat below, we want to add a little urgency with a countdown timer. Now see, can you see? Well, let me try it down here because it won't be blue. It's giving me direction above lead generation. So if I drop this in here, it will go above this box. This says below text in this box, and I move it up a little bit, it says above text. I want to put it above the text. Now if I click on this, you see we have countdown timer here. The style is simple. You have three options. You can do one that has the round, or you can do the one with the square. So I'm going to do that and click apply. And red doesn't really go with all the pink and the orange. So we click the color and we will choose, we could do the green. I'm just scrolling to see what looks good. The pink and the red. I think I'm going to go back to maybe sort of a teal color and leave it that way. Here you put the end date, whatever date you want it to be. If you want to put the time in, how many hours, how many minutes, etc., you can do that. You select the time zone, text that you want to show once this timer runs out. Oops, sorry you missed the webinar. All of that can be in there. So now we have some urgency. They can see that there's a countdown here. They only have 23 hours left to register for this webinar, and then it takes place. So those are awesome practices. Now when you have a registration sign up page for your webinar, you also need a thank you page, and Thrive gives you those as well. This is the change template. I'm not going to change this. I just want to show you. Let's see if I can find the one we were using before. Well, I'm trying to think of which one I pulled from. I was scrolling through them before we got started. It doesn't much matter. I'm going to look at this. Coming soon. Launch page. Well, again, you could use any of these as a thank you page. Confirmation page. You could do something like this. Thank you for signing up, or this download page, and convert it to the webinar registration. Okay, webinar confirmation page. You could do something like that. On the confirmation page, you would want to add our fourth best practice, and that's a social sharing option. Now I'm just going to include it here because I can show you without having to set up a completely new page. You would always put this on your thank you page, because that way people aren't trying to do two things at one time. On this page, we want them focused on filling it out and signing up. So once they flip to the thank you page, the confirmation page, we'll pull this social share in. And for now, I'm going to just drop it right down here to show you how it works. And that way on the thank you page, they can share the webinar with all their friends. So we're in the social share menu because that's the box I've clicked on. and I'm going to go to main options. And there are several styles. You can use the round ones, you can use this square one, that square one, whichever one you want to do. So we'll stick with this. Click apply. And these are the options that are here. Let's say I want to do Pinterest. Click apply, and I don't like the red down there. So I'll grab here and click and hold and pull it up, and it moves. If you click in here, you can do a custom description for Pinterest. You can choose an image, whatever you want to do, and click apply. And enter any of the information. Now, because this would be on your thank you page, you would need to enter the URL for the sign up page. You don't want them to share your thank you page because you want to send people to the page where they can also sign up. So just enter whatever that may be, and you can put that in, and then when they click these buttons, it will also direct them to this link. You can also do a social share count here that people can see how many times it's been shared. You can move this to the middle. You can move it to one side or the other side. You can also, hold on, here we go, orientation. You can also do vertical. If you have a small space and you want to line it up that way, you can do it that way. So all kinds of different things. And the last thing we need to do is test the pages. See which variation of these pages works better and produces better than the others. And that's built into Thrive Architect too. If you notice over on the right hand side, I'm hovering over the A-B icon and it says create new test. That's going to bring us to this page, and you can just duplicate. I've already done this, but you can click the duplicate icon right here, duplicate this variation, and it'll bring you a new one. You can name it whatever you want to, test page 2 or whatever you want to name it. And then you edit the variation. You can go in and change the headline. You can put a different picture. You can try one version with the countdown timer, one version without the countdown timer, and see what works better for you. When you're done tinkering around with that, oh, it says distribute traffic evenly. It's set at 50-50. If for some reason you wanted it to be different, you can move it around. I usually leave it at 50-50 unless there are special circumstances. So then we go to set up and start A/B test up here in the top right corner. Name your test, whatever you want it to be. Webinar split test, that's just for your knowledge. If you want to add a short description, you can. You don't have to. Put whatever. Enable automatic winner settings. You can do that if you want to. That will mean that once Thrive Architect determines that one version is pulling better than the other, it will only deliver what it says is the winning version. I typically do not enable this. If you do, you'll scroll down a little bit and you can control. It has to have a minimum of 100 conversions before it makes a decision, has to run a minimum of 14 days before it makes a decision, etc., etc. I typically leave that off and I just let my test run from beginning to end. Click next. You can do one that a test that the goal is revenue. You can do one that you get a certain number of subscriptions. In this case, it would be opt-ins to the webinar. If you want a minimum of 100 registrations, you could use that as the goal. Most of the time it's going to be visiting a goal page, and you'll search for the goal page. This is going to be the name you gave the page when you created it in WordPress, not the link to the page. So let's see if I can, it'll bring up a menu. Let's see if I can just find, yep, so this is an old one, Steady Income Blog with Connie Green Confirmation. So I'm going to use that, and you can edit it, you can preview it, you can do lots of other things. And then you would click Start A/B Test. I'm not going to do that here because I don't want to start a new test on my site, but it would begin to calculate, and you would be able to see the results of the test. So let's see, preview. This is what the page looks like that we created. And of course, we talked about moving these social share buttons over to the confirmation page. Very nice. And all in all, it didn't take us very long to do it. Maybe 15 minutes? Not bad for non-techie people. So when you use the 5 best practices for a webinar registration page, you use a professionally designed template so it looks nice and it builds trust. You use persuasive copy designed to entice people to register for your webinar. You put a countdown timer on there, or at least test having a countdown timer to see if it increases your conversions, and put a social sharing option on your thank you page, not your registration page. Then test the pages to see which types, which layouts, which copy perform better. Then you have a much greater opportunity to maximize the number of registrations that you get for all the webinars you do. This is Karon Thackston with marketingwords.com. I hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're here, and I will catch you next time. If you have, by the way, suggestions, questions, or how-tos that you would like to see that pertain to online marketing, let me know. I'm always open for ideas. You can just drop a few words in the comments below. Thanks. I hope you have an awesome afternoon and that your next webinar registration page absolutely knocks it out of the ballpark.